Good evening, folks. This is Colin from Kincaid Outdoors, and welcome to my Thursday Night Live. We're going to be discussing winter preparedness and winter vehicle survival kits that you should always keep on hand in your vehicle in this time of year, whether you're traveling across country and you're not normally in weather like this. I know the northern parts of the states and on the eastern seaboard up in northeastern United States are getting hit pretty heavily and steadily. And I know parts of Canada is getting hit regularly for quite a while now. But for those of us who travel for holiday plans, visiting family, that kind of thing across country, whether if they're not traveling by plane or basically traveling by car or train, you've got to be careful with what you need to carry with you. Whether you carry it with you personally or in your vehicle, you can have such things as chemical hand warmers, or the regular style fuel type hand warmers. Now, this one here is a simple, get a chance here. This is a Johnny hand warmer. Just fill it up with lighter fluid and it works fine. Keeps your hands warm for a couple hours. So it can get pretty warm. But on standard, you can either get the standard hot hands. They do make a larger version that has adhesive parts that you can attach to your body, adhere to your clothing to help keep your core warm. You could either go with electric socks, electric gloves. Even they have the electric heated vests, battery-powered vests nowadays. Make sure you can also make sure you have in your vehicle stocking caps, wool socks. Even I've got several things here. I'm going to use this as an example since I have it right here. Something like this, like an emergency winter sleeping bag or sleep system. It's good for one person, but we'd have multiple sleeping bags and emergency blankets on hand, as well as like the things for an extra fuel canisters for like a gas can for extra fuel, just in case. Most people don't like keeping those in their trunks or anything because in case of the smell and things like that. Hey, Blake, how you doing? I do have a question for you, Blake, because I don't know about Georgia. Are you guys getting any kind of snow down there? I mean, I know that Western North Carolina is getting snow, but I wasn't sure if you are. So Jason is covering up his greenhouse because it's supposed to be 33 degrees down there. So he'll be back in a couple minutes. But right now I'm going through a list of the different items that you should keep in your vehicle due to the fact that, like in my area, extra clothing, thermal clothing, everything, extra jackets, gloves, that kind of thing. If you don't already have them on you, I've got several layers. Oh, dress in layers, removable layers, like button up, zip up, things you can remove or add as you'd go. No snow? How cold has it got? Because I know it got pretty cold in Western North Carolina. I've been paying attention to what's going on over there. It's kind of a pet peeve I have right now. It's not permanent, but it's pretty in my forefront of my brain. Now, one of the things I do is I keep emergency fuel. But this is denatured alcohol, which I put in with my my alcohol stove, which we can use as an emergency heat source as well as a cooking source. You can do emergency candles that way as well as having emergency bivvies, such as one of these. You can use regular emergency blankets, but the emergency bivvies is a good thing to have on hand. A cook kit of some kind where you can cook your food, or if you have candles and stuff, you don't want to worry about getting burnt on anything. You put your candles in one of these to help heat yourself and others around you, keep them warm. Oh, ability to make fire any way, kind of shape or form. You have your lighters or matches, emergency matches and stuff like that. I have several different items that I carry. I have right here beside my chair. Just gotta find it all right now. I got it like everywhere. Like emergency matches, or even simple stick matches. This is just simple old restaurant style stick matches to light emergency candles, which can last up to 5 to 10 hours, depending on which kind you have. I don't have them in there right now, but I would have extra batteries in here and some other things as well. Okay, I've got to do something with here. I'm getting myself stuck by something. But that's just some of the items. I mean, I've been through this kit before, so I don't need to go through it right now, unless some of the topic covers that. Now, having the ability to heat up water and use them in, say, like a Nalgene bottle like this, that you can use as an emergency water bottle to keep it next to your core, to keep your core warm. That's an option. You don't have to use one this big. This is a big 48-ounce one, but I've got some regular sized ones that you could use, and they make awesome emergency water bottles. Or you can use a Pepsi bottle or whatever else you have, because I've got, other options you can use. If you don't have a plastic water bottle, you can get yourself like an Ascend single wall metal one like this, do the same. But this one here, I would suggest if you do something like that, put it in a sock or something like that to keep it off your skin, because you might burn yourself. But that'd be a good way to give yourself some kind of way to keep your core warm, especially if your car goes off the road or gets stuck somewhere and you can't get to regular shelter. I've got so much stuff that I carry with me. Anyway, this is just an example for a lot of the items I carry for that purpose. Now, an extra, my stove, so that which you can use with either emergency candles or sterno or anything like that. Though you do have to make sure you watch out for carbon monoxide because of some of those items you have to worry about those. Emergency medication is another one. This is not my medication one. This is my char cloth, but this is my emergency medication. In case you get stuck somewhere, you have enough to get yourself through a few days at the very least. That would got a lot of stuff here. Cordage, tons of cordage, because you never know when you might need it. Extra tarps, things to help insulate your car if you're in a vehicle of any size, to help keep your core temperature in. I've been off the road before, having things such as chains or emergency traction devices, which you can put underneath your tires, or kitty litter, stand, whatever you decide to carry with you. I've seen someone actually carry wood pellets, use those. Or better yet, the wooden based kitty litter, which works really well. I'm back. Welcome back. I was actually discussing about heating up water using either your single burner alcohol stove or a propane stove. Like those little butane single burner things. Heat up water, put them in water bottles to use as hot water bottles.
As long as they don't freeze.
Well, it'll be up against your core. It'll help keep your core warm. It's not like you're going to let them sit out and about, but this is where you put them inside your jacket, inside your clothing, to help keep your core warm. Now, I wouldn't put a metal one next to your core. I'd put it in a sock or something first. Now, if you're using this is just an example because this is what I had here, is a giant 48-ounce one. That was one thing good about it, is that it could both keep yourself hydrated as well as keep you warm, depending on the case. But you got to remember, you got to be careful, having to go to the bathroom. Also, if you do decide to sleep in your vehicle because you have no choice, go to the bathroom before you try to fall asleep, because it'll keep yourself warmer by evacuating your bladder immensely. Also, having the use of an emergency bivy or military sleep system or some kind of cold weather sleep system to help maintain your core, as well as either having hot hands or some kind of chemical hand warmers. These do come in various sizes, so you can get them in the big patch sizes, which you can just attach to your clothing. It'll work for a couple hours. I know some backpackers, and Luke from the Outdoor Boys uses those on a regular basis. So they come in really big patches, like that big. So that'll help keep your core warm. Now you got to also be careful of make sure your extremities don't get cold either. So you can either get battery powered socks, but I'm not a really big fan of socks because my feet sweat. I'm worried about the battery dies. That means my feet are going to get colder faster. But that's neither here nor there. You have any suggestions, Jason?
Just stay out of the wind.
Well, one of the things I was also talking about is having any extra meds that you may need on a daily basis, carry extras with you. Because, just because you're not at home, you're only going to be supposed to be a short trip, always carry extras.
Yeah, and don't drink alcohol.
And don't drink alcohol, no. Now, this one here is a simple, I only have 4 days in here right now, but I've got a 6-day supply, which I can go up to 8 if I add 2 more here. But I can have it up to 8 days if I really pushed it. So that way I can carry this and probably some ibuprofen or Tylenol or even simple little cold medicine just in case. And a folding stove, or even let's see. Most vehicles are a little bit too small for a propane heater of any kind, because that's be too much, and you have to worry about carbon monoxide. I think
carbon monoxide.
Dioxide. I keep on getting the monoxide dioxide part mixed up. But carrying extra stocking caps and gloves and wool socks. Wool socks can be your friend, because wool will keep you warm even when wet. So wool blankets are your friend. Unless you have a vehicle like, say, Molly and Jason do, their minivan. They would be a little bit better off space-wise, but they also have to heat up that space as well.
It's an adventure van, not a minivan.
Okay. That's your holiday vehicle.
Yeah.
Hey, Weldon Carey, how you doing? Oh no, I missed out on the giveaway. I'm sorry, I was busy. I wouldn't have been over there to try to enter. Well, maybe next time. Now, one of the things that you can always make sure you carry is, carry yourself a little folding saw, some kind of way to a collapsible snow shovel, or a full size if you have the room, kitty litter, or any kind of traction devices that you may get your chains for your vehicle. Anything like that would help get you traction if you get stuck somewhere. An extra battery jump pack. You've seen those around a lot lately on Amazon and Temu and other places like that you could carry just in case you get stuck somewhere and you start running your battery down, to be able to get your vehicle started again, as well as having an extra gas can and things like that. So okay, if I'm not sure if what was the giveaway for anyway. I'm just curious. No, but like I said, These right here are not too expensive. They're good things to have, though. I'm not really big fan of these for one reason, because they trap all heat in, which means they trap all moisture in, especially in a cold weather situation such as below near freezing or below. Because if you sweat, you die. That's one of my things.
You know what the best thing is for a cold weather situation for not being stranded?
Don't go.
That's right. Stay home.
But if you're in a situation where you were traveling to go to a family event across country, a emergency situation where you had to go pick somebody up, that were far away from home. But if you're in the southern states, it's not as bad as if you're in the northern or mid to northern. But it can happen, especially like I said in Western North Carolina. I was talking about that earlier. It can get enough to where even a little bit can be hazardous. So if everybody would give me their number one thing they would make sure they carry in their vehicle, I would love to hear what everybody has. I've got multiple things that I carry with me on a regular in my vehicle. This is going in my truck, by the way. So I actually carry 2 sleeping bags, winter sleeping bags, one for me, one for Jenny generally. Unless I know if Ian's going to be with me, then I carry 3.
No, we got the flannel sleeping bags.
Are they winter rated?
I'm not sure how cold they are, but you'll sweat in them at 40 degrees.
Well, you may have to be rated for a little bit cooler, down to 30 or more.
Yeah.
Just be on the safe side. Especially, I swap them out, the items out according to what time of year it is, because you never know what you're going to need, and you pack accordingly like any other survival kit, because you never know what you're going to need at any given time during the year. So, like I said, I have my alcohol stove, which I carry in here, but I could also swap that out for using sterno fuel. Though I'm not a big fan of sterno, because once it's gone, it's gone. But I could use multiple different items to go in my alcohol stove, whether it be actual fuel from like a gasoline to the yellow gas treatment is a good one. Denatured alcohol, or just straight rubbing alcohol, 70% or higher.
Don't use MAP gas.
Which one is that?
The yellow bottle.
The yellow bottle is used for, you cook it outside, not inside your vehicle.
No, you don't use it in your stove at all. It's too hot. It'll melt it.
No. I've never had any issues with it.
The MAP gas? Oh, yeah. No, that's what they use for sweating copper pipe together now.
Well, the thing is that the yellow gas treatment, it's cheap and easy, and it's readily available.
No, I'm not
talking about
gas treatment. I'm talking about those little, like those propane bottles, and you'll see those yellow ones. Don't use those.
Oh, no. I would not put in, like, say, a heat buddy or anything like that in your vehicle, unless your vehicle's big enough to handle something like that, like your van.
Very survival. How you doing?
Hey, Heath, how you doing, brother? Heat in the yellow bottle is the perfect one to use. Now, in a pinch, you can use Everclear. But for those people who think, oh, that's just a waste of good alcohol, I'm sorry, you have a choice. A artificial heat in your body or an actual physical heat outside your body. That's my thing, because you could also use it to heat up food and things like that, or melt snow if you need to, if you're running low on water. So having a couple cases of water on hand is a good thing. Having a water filtration system of some kind is also a bonus. Whether it be a gravity feed system such as the Sawyer Mini or Squeeze, depending on that case, or my like in my case, the other filter that I carry is the Katadyn Hiker. But those things have really expensive filters, so I don't plan on buying a lot of those because they're $50 filters. But having things that will keep your core temperature warm, snuggling with your significant other, if you have one with you at the time, is always a bonus. But if you're stuck in, say, a snowbank at night due to a deer ran you off the road, or you hit an icy patch and skidded off the road, and the plows aren't coming through for at least a little while, you might want to be careful with what you carry with you and stuff like that. Like I was mentioning earlier, putting hot water in a, not necessarily this big, mind you, a Nalgene bottle to keep yourself warm at your core. That's a good thing. Also, in an emergency pinch, for us guys, we can use this as a urinal if we need to. Mm-hmm. And also that in itself could be used as a hot water bottle, unfortunately. Don't discount that being used as well, because that'll keep your core warm as well. Because trying to sleep while you have to go to the bathroom is not only going to make it hard for you to sleep, it's also going to use a lot more calories to keep that fluid warm in your body than anything else.
Yeah, and don't forget a dryer hose
for your exhaust.
Yep.
If that would probably be a good idea, the flexible one.
Yeah.
I did actually see something really interesting that somebody had did on, I'm not sure if it was Instagram or TikTok, I can't remember, but the angled dryer pipe.
Yeah.
That goes just an elbow.
Yeah.
They made a rocket stove out of one of those.
Oh.
Well, it's the heavy duty tin ones, and all it's just a regular elbow. It's like you normally see, and they just stood it up and put a bracket where they can put a pot above it and everything else, and they used it like a rocket stove. So that was the quick and dirtiest method I've ever seen for making one of those. Now, would that take up a lot of space in your pack or your bag or your box or whatever you have them in your vehicle? Probably, but it's an option. But keeping a lighter on hand is like the number one way of make sure you have fire. Though you may have matches, you may have a butane torch or whatever, but you have enough fuel for that. How you doing, Cecilia? I don't know how much you have in your vehicle for winter travel. I know you're in the city and stuff, so you don't have to travel as much. But if you have to travel outside the city or anything like that, what would you keep in your vehicle for emergency kit? Like I said, I've got this little thing here. It's supposed to be for soap, but I'm using this to keep my char cloth dry. Because you never know, you can never not have too much char cloth. And if you have emergency candles, the small ones, mind you, or even tea lights, you can put them in something like this. To not necessarily with the lid on, or even like my kettle here. You put them in there it gives them oxygen enough to heat up the place, and that way you don't have to worry about burning anything. But yeah. Now, I'm not sure how many of us have these right here, little transient knockoffs or transients themselves. They were a godsend for me anyway, because I could use multiple types of fuel in here, not just alcohol. Though alcohol is the main thing you could use it in. Now, if you have emergency Mylar blankets, those are good, but those things are flimsy at best. They're not perfect. Now, the heavier duty, refoldable, usable ones are better. Wool blankets are best if you have them. But like I said, I've got a combination of multiple wool blankets, like the one I have hanging here, as well as a few others. I have actually been in a winter, living out of my vehicle in the winter when I was homeless. It is not something I wish on anybody. I did have an advantage of the fact that I was in a minivan and I had a futon mattress to lay on, which gave me about 6 inches of insulation from the frame of the vehicle. But it did not help me with the rest of the vehicle keeping warm. But I will say that the alcohol stove and stuff like that did keep me warm for a long period of time. Now, you can use such things as hurricane lamps, but I would worry about carbon monoxide on those because
Anything
they
that
can
burns
provide.
fuel,
Go ahead.
anything that burns fuel, you got to watch out for.
Right. But you can crack your window a little bit, but you got to be careful with that too, especially if it's in a blizzard type situation or not. Make sure you have the ability to dig yourself out if no one else is there. Though they do have nowadays those portable jump starter packs that you can get from they're like only like that big. They can help
Walmart, yeah.
Walmart, Temu, Amazon, any places like that.
Just go to Walmart and buy it at Walmart because then you can exchange it at any Walmart if it goes bad.
That's a good idea. Or Target or whatever you have, but Walmart's probably more optional for you to go.
Yeah, but so yeah, if you actually buy one and sent through the mail, you got to deal with the person who sent it to you through the mail. You can't take it to the store.
Right. So unless you buy it from the actual website of Walmart and stuff like that, but then they'll take it that way because they actually came from the website of Walmart. But generally, making sure you have extra wool clothing over just regular clothing, because make sure you go in layers or have the ability to put on layers, not just like a solid shirt folded over another fold, like a hoodie pullover type. You want the ability to unzip and open up your core to release any extra body heat, because you don't want to sweat. And as people say, cotton kills, and so does sweat will kill you if you're not careful in a cold situation. Have you ever been stuck in the winter, Jason?
Yeah, in the Sierra Nevadas.
Okay. What'd you do when that happened?
Well, we had our dinner. Our dinner froze in under 7 minutes. Yeah, it froze.
I was in Evanston, Wyoming. I was in a similar situation.
Yeah, so with our fire, what I did is my brother and we dug a trench, and we had to put a bunch of rocks by the fire to heat up, not in it. And then we, before we went to bed, we threw the rocks into the trench, covered it up with the sand, pitched our tent on top of it, and we were warm all night.
Yep.
By the way,
Luke from the Outdoor
I knew this when I was
Boys,
15, 16 years old.
that's pretty harsh for a teenager, but smart though.
Oh, yeah, no. We were taught to survive at a very young age.
A lot of mine I learned on my own because my dad passed away over 20 years ago. A lot of the problems I had wasn't until after he passed away, So with me, it's going to sound weird. Insulated floor mats for your vehicle. They do make them, not just the ones that look pretty. The really extra thick ones that will insulate your floorboards from the cold, because cold will radiate through your floorboards into your feet and boots faster than anything else if you're not careful. And minimize exiting and entering your vehicle. If you don't have a reason to go out, don't. Try to keep the heat in as much as possible. And watch your gas gauge. If you're not completely covered up with your tailpipe and everything, and you might have to have the hoses that Jason mentioned, the flexible dryer hose. If you have a dual exhaust, make sure you have 2 of those, because I know a lot of vehicles nowadays have 2 exhausts, not just 1. If I'm right, Jason, do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Please remind me if I'm forgetting something. Some kind of signaling device to let people know that you are actually trapped in your vehicle. Whether it be the emergency triangles or a
Whistle.
Well, the thing is, if you're in your vehicle and then your windows are covered up with snow, you're not going to be able to whistle until you know that they're, because usually people wait till they see the lights of someone's vehicle, and by the time they see it, they're already past you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I've dealt with that, and I'm sure you've dealt with that. And when you're cold, you don't move as quickly as you like to. I know I've dealt with it, and Jason dealt with it with his brother. Um, he was actually lucky because he had his brother with him, and they knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
Now, was it 100% solution? Because there's no guarantee the tent they were using was winter rated at all.
It was canvas.
Oh, so it was a single wall though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was better than a nylon tent, but not rated for 4 seasons. More of a 3 season rather than 4 season tent. Now, I only have one tent that's close to being rated for that, and that's my Light Fighter 1, but I still need the liner for it, which I'm going to have to pick up in the future. But that will be my backup one for my truck, because I've got a back seat, but I don't have as much room as Jenny has in her car, because surprisingly enough, the Dodge Avenger that she has, the seats fold down, and the back seats fold down towards the front, which opens up into the trunk.
Yeah.
Which gives you a lot of floor space when that happens. So you could lay down in the back and have your feet in the trunk, and you'll be able to lay out properly. Now, would you still need to put a blanket or some kind of major cushioning down from the rest of the vehicle? Definitely, because it will get cold. Running your vehicle is good for short periods only, because you don't want to run out of gas. Because you're going to have to be able to charge your devices if you don't have extra battery banks or power stations, as some people may have, like Jason has, I believe, Cliff and Blake as well. I think Tyler had one too, I think. I don't have one yet. That's on my list. Unless you're carrying a generator with you, I don't, no. Now, I'm going to talk to Heath real quick because he's in Kentucky, so I'm not sure what the weather's like there.
Cold.
I do know. I did hear something about either the Tennessee, Kentucky area had a fire going on, a forest fire going on. So I'm not sure if I can get some updated information from that area or not. And I know from anybody from Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee, those guys are not doing so hot. They're doing winter survival in the worst kind of way. People are still living out of tents over there, which makes no sense. But I'm not going to go down that trail because that is my big pet peeve going on right now. The medic in me wants to do something, and I'm physically unable to do so. Does anybody have any suggestions, questions, insights, especially in the winter survival travel times between, since this is the holiday season, starting from Thanksgiving, which was last week, to Christmas, and New Year's, which is coming up. If you're traveling cross country to family, friends, whatever, any places that may have snowfall or even straight up cold weather. Right now, we have a very limited amount of snow where I'm at, but it is also 13 degrees here. 13 degrees Fahrenheit is cold. Now, is it super cold? No, but it's cold enough, and we have high winds.
You still got the winds going on?
Not as bad as it was. They stopped earlier today, but they were going between 30 to 50 miles an hour. And when it's combined with cold weather, that means wind chill is like majorly low. And you got to watch out for that, because I think it's convection will just suck the heat right out of you.
Oh yeah.
If you're not,
like I said, stay out of the wind.
So if you're in your vehicle and you do not, there's no immediate way of someone's flagging somebody down, don't get out of your vehicle if you don't have to. Stay in your vehicle. I know it's like an ice box if you have no other heat sources available, but be careful. I don't want to hear about somebody freezing to death, because I've heard about other people who have in the last couple of weeks, which really torques me off when things could have been different. But that's just my pet peeve right now. Does Molly have any suggestions?
I don't know. She's playing her game.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, interfere with her game. I actually had Jenny ask. I asked Jenny some questions about what she would do and add, because I mean I know what I like to add, because I like overkill. I'd rather be too prepared than not enough prepared. And she threw in some really good ideas. Then I hit a button and it wiped out all the ideas we just wrote down. Then I had to retype everything, like such as having kitty litter in your for traction purposes. Now, they do have the portable plastic mats you can put underneath your tires to help you get some traction. There's other methods, having a tow rope, having road flares, which can also work as an emergency fire starter if you need to, if you're going to have a vehicle, fire outside your vehicle. And it also depends on which type of vehicle you have. I think the diesel ones, you can actually put a fire underneath the engine block to help heat up the oil pan to help you get started, I think. But I'm not a mechanic. I'm just going by what I've seen on TV. So someone's going to have to correct me on that one. And if I'm rambling, please forgive me.
They were usually using the heated dipsticks.
Well, the one I saw was one of the guys who was in Alaska, and they had their engine block froze. I mean, the oil pan froze, and they couldn't get it started, but they put a fire underneath there, and it heated up their engine oil and the engine block enough to get their truck started. So there's that. Now, that one I can't attest to because I've never had to do it, because I've never had a vehicle that needed to do that. I've never only military diesel vehicles I've dealt with are military. And I'm sorry, but the ambulances I've ever driven, only the Humvee ambulances were diesel. And I didn't drive those much in the winter.
Advertisement.
Okay.
McDonald's.
What number is that one?
I know it's the first one I've seen.
I've got stream the NFL on Sirius XM, which won't do me a good bit of good because I don't like football.
Oh, I'm not a football fan.
Neither am I.
I'm the commercial fan.
Now, is Heath still here? I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea.
If you guys are still here, please put a 1 in the chat. Blake, are you still here?
A while.
Wilden Carey, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you much. I apologize. Please like and share, by the way. I'd really appreciate it if you would. Trying to get some more topics on this one. Jenny did mention having some kind of protection in your vehicle. Just because you are, if your area might have predators, such as bears don't care if they smell food. They will go through your car door just to get to it.
Then the bear becomes food.
What was that?
Then the bear becomes food and jacket.
As long as you have a protection device that will allow you to do so. So we're not talking about a little pocket knife here, folks. Now, a road flare will probably save you from a bear. Though a Roman candle will probably work better. Just because. Now, I'm not sure. I've got so much stuff I got to figure out. I need help. Help me figure things out there, Jason, because I can't think of it. I'm trying to think of everything all at once, and it's kind of locking my brain down.
Go through the alphabet.
Okay, so A. What would be an A? I can't think of an A one.
Apples.
Yeah, but that's not exactly something you usually keep in your car. or vehicle, I should say, in general. B, blankets. I can think of blankets, and a board game of some kind in order to keep yourself from being bored. Um, I have no idea. C, candles, candling devices, such as like flashlights, canned goods, if you really want to carry it that much. Some kind of extra canned goods for food, like tuna, soup, or anything like that. Canned bacon, if you really want to go that route. But it's all canned goods to me, and it's, its shelf life is a lot better than some things. D, well, if you have a child, diapers and stuff like that. If you have children. E is emergency supplies in general, like emergency food, emergency blankets, emergency fire starters, anything like that. F is also flashlights. It's also fire, putting like candles and things like that, which would be also under the C. B, batteries and battery banks for your phones, for your flashlights and such. F, fire of any kind and flashlights. And G, I'm stuck. Food. I mentioned food already, but you can do that too. Now, MREs work really well. Of various types of instant food, even like ramen is a good choice. Anything that you could heat up and help keep your core warm. But I would be careful about how much you eat, because you will have to, expel that eventually from your body. And last thing you really want to do in its sub-zero temperatures to have to go to the bathroom, whether it's 1 or 2. G, I think I was at.
Gasoline.
Gas or diesel, depending on what you have for your vehicle. So I usually put that F under fuel. But you could also use that fuel for the denatured alcohol stuff for your stove, or the butane canisters for your one burner stove, which you can use either for heat or for cooking your food.
Yeah.
Or melting snow for water, if you have to go that route, if you're running low on water. H. That's kind of tough one for me. Hand warmers.
There you go, hand warmers.
Of both the hot hands or this old school Johnny kind, with fuel, mind you. Here's another. If you're like Jason did earlier he said earlier with his brother, something to start fires with, whether it's be a lighter or a flint and steel, a battery and steel wool, something like that. Now, an old fire blanket would not necessarily be a bad idea, because it could be used for multiple things.
It'll still keep you warm.
It will keep you warm. Moving quilts will do the same things. I mean, I'm a big fan of moving quilts, especially in vehicles, because those things are severely padded, and those things do keep you warm, surprisingly enough. But unfortunately, they're mostly made of cotton, batten, and cotton. So they're not as good as wool, but they do provide padding and insulation off the bottom of your vehicle, depending on if you have a floor or some kind of system that you could lay out and lay down in, try to maintain your core body strength. Because sitting up in your car like this for 8 hours, try to keep warm without being able to move, is a sure sign you're going to get hypothermia and frostbite.
Oh, yeah.
A good thing to do. Now, making sure you have proper headgear, whether it be a balaclava, a scarf, or any of the stuff like that Cecilia makes and donates to to people. Those are really nice things. I mean, including the socks. So you got your socks, your hats, your scarves, your balaclavas, anything like that to help protect your ears, protect your nose, your face, that kind of thing. Always a good idea. Base. Okay, yeah, another B. Base layers, such as thermals and well, like this one here. This is just simple thermal style shirt. Not exactly thermals, but they work. Um, I am. Oof. I'm running out of steam there, Jason. I need help.
I'm about ready to go get my dinner.
What are you having?
I don't know yet.
Are you just? Is that like fend for yourself or what?
No, I don't know what it is yet.
So you have to make it.
No, it's already been made. I just don't know what it is.
You always ask who made it.
Daughter did.
Which one?
The oldest one.
To be honest, I have no clue which one is the oldest, but they're both cool. I don't care. Now, let's see. I'm trying to think of. Hey, love. Want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, Jenny.
She's not feeling so hot right now. She's been working double time because of her coworker not showing up. They're going to be in the process of probably hiring another person to replace her, hopefully, because that's just not fair to Jenny.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Trying to think of other things that would be something you could use to keep yourself warm and/or protected. Oh, those sunscreens people put in their vehicles.
Yeah.
You can use that type of bubble wrap material to insulate the inside of your windows in that kind of situation. If you
There's Cliff.
Hey, Cliff, come on up. The link's at the top of the chat, or it's also on Instagram. That you can put in your trunk that are already fitted to your windows to help keep the heat in. But unfortunately, it does do one thing. It does block out all light as well. So you're going to be dependent on either some kind of candle or a flashlight or your phone to keep yourself illuminated instead of just sitting in the dark. And also, it's also going to stop you from seeing any headlights that come down the road as well.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of the drawbacks. But if you're going to have a choice between freezing to death or waiting to see somebody, I'd rather keep warm, to be honest. And if someone happens to see the vehicle, keep your flashers on as much as you can, but don't remember that they will run your battery down. Oh, well, hey, I got some stuff for you here. Here, you can have some of this.
Oh, he's still not feeling well?
No, he's still not feeling well. That's what I've been fighting too, Cliff. So I may have been blowing my nose quite often today. So don't worry. Please forgive me on that. Now, like I was mentioning earlier, when minimize your exposure to the elements while you're stranded. I understand people want to get out of their cars and try to dig themselves out. Then they work themselves up into a sweat, and they don't begin to remove layers to let the heat off their core of their body. And surprisingly enough, there is a really quick and field expedient way to dry the sweat off your body. You know what it is, Jason?
What?
Well, if you could you strip down to your waist, take your shirt, your jacket, everything off, and if you're sweating profusely from trying to dig yourself out, snow will dry you off faster than anything.
Yeah, if it's the dry snow.
Yeah, if it's the dry snow, it will dry you out. But that just means you just put your layers back on one layer at a time, or put on a dry set of clothing to do so. Don't put your sweaty clothes back on, because you got to make sure they're dry before you put them back on. Unless they're wool. If they're wool bases type things, not what's the word? It's with the artificial stuff they use instead of well, not. I know it's a polyester, but it's not a.
Yeah.
I can't think of the
Be
word.
right back.
I'm sure someone will probably correct me. I'm glad to see you're still here, Blake. And I hope you feel better soon, Cliff. He's got a sinus headache going on. Synthetic layers. Synthetic clothing is not as good as wool. Now, while this is really nice and everything, this is not wool. This is like probably acrylic or something like that. Yeah, this is acrylic, not exactly wool. Now, I do have some that are wool. And I got to remember what I did with it. Oh, here. This is a military-based one. This actually is military. This one is 100% wool. What? See, watch cap. Now, Ian gave me this one, surprisingly enough. So this would go bye-bye, and this would go on. This will keep my head warmer than this one will. Now, I know some people call them toques, some people call them beanies, but this is what the military calls them. They call them watch caps. But I also, prefer. I will sleep with this thing all day if I need to. But it does get really, really warm. Now, Cliff, I know you lived in Denver. What kind of stuff did you guys keep in your vehicles when you were traveling? Especially in wintertime, I mean. I know you can't think very well right now, and I apologize for that. But I only been through Denver in the wintertime. I've never lived in Denver through the wintertime, so I don't have a lot of expertise in that area, literally. But having give me a second here. Oh, wrong bag. Wrong compartment. Oh, yeah. The sole emergency blankets and bivvies and stuff like that, they do work, but I would be careful with, you could possibly sweat if you have too many layers on, and you start to sweat, you could basically freeze to death if you're not careful. Now, if you're in a bigger vehicle, such as a pickup truck or even minivan, then you have more space to heat up and that kind of thing. I have a 4-door truck at the moment, F-150, but I don't have the cab space as much as Jenny's Ford Dodge Avenger. You had your pies, but you had ice cream anyway. Now, I told him you're right, just search suggestions and stuff like that. Now, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, the same material that you use like for sunscreens on your car to protect the dash and stuff can be used to outfit your windows to insulate the windows from the outside cold. Now, most people don't have the time or the money to spend extra cash to fitted window insulation things, but that's a good idea. You should think about it if you have a chance to do so. So I don't know what I think See, Blake's got a truck. Cliff's got a truck. I've got a truck. Jason's got a adventure van, as he likes to call it. I don't know what Heath's got because I've never seen his vehicle. And I know Weldon Carey was in here. I don't know what he's got. And Cecilia, I don't know if you have a car or what you have. So I never thought to ask. But think about what you need to keep in your vehicle for emergency situations. If you have to travel from point A to point B over a distance of miles outside the city or even inside the city, okay, no car. Okay, you're not going anywhere unless someone's driving you. I can understand that. Just be careful going outside. You can actually carry rock salt in your vehicle if you want to. The extra weight might help you with traction. Keeping decent all-weather tires or snow tires on your vehicle, if that's a possibility, do that. Vehicle chains, if you know how to put those on, they're a godsend. In my book, that helped me get over the Rocky Mountains in a '83 Dodge Colt. And it's that vehicle was a 4-speed with overdrive, and that thing, because it was a manual vehicle, it got me through the coldest parts of Wyoming. Now, I will let you know, even though I was wearing combat boots, winter combat boots no less, my feet still froze because it was so freaking cold. I didn't learn about insulating the floorboards with extra thick carpeting until after that. Jenny's vehicle, I don't know if she wants to do that or not, because we could probably get some really decent floor mats from the store, the really thick ones for her car, not the little rubberized ones, to help it. You do? Okay. Well, my truck's got the rubberized ones, which I'm probably going to swap out. Ian wants them for his truck anyway. And these are just simple Tasmanian devil ones, which I want to replace. I'm not a fan. But keeping your vehicle as warm and airtight as possible is a bonus, not necessarily always going to happen, because you never know that you will go off the road or not. I don't have everything I need for a winter traveling thing in my truck. My truck is 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive, which is a step up from what Jenny has, and it also has the tow rope and things like that. So, which is great for towing people, but not so much anything else. The gas mileage is not as good as her car and that kind of thing, but it's got the power to pull, things out and things like that. Please forgive me. I have to go use the restroom. I will be right back. And I'm back. Please forgive me about that. I had to use the facilities. And if you guys want to change topics, we can. But that's the information I've got right now. Thank you, Cecilia. I hope things are going well for you.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. I had to take a pit stop myself while you were gone.
I just cut the part of changing the subject. I'm going, let's talk about food so CR will show up.
Yeah, we could, well, one thing, I mean, you can talk about the food for the survival gear, but it depends on what you would carry in that. MREs would probably be better because they actually have those MRE heaters.
Oh, yeah.
Which could help heat up like bottled water or anything else for that matter. Because they last a lot longer than you need for heating up your food. So you wrap it around your water bottle or your canteen or whatever that you're using. At least to use it to keep yourself warm. So what'd you end up with, Jason?
Pork and rice.
You eat a lot of rice, don't you?
Yeah. Especially when you add butter to it, pepper, garlic, soy sauce, and sriracha sauce.
That's too salty for me. Soy sauce is extremely salty.
You don't need a whole lot.
I'm not into any of that. I don't deal with a lot of salt in my food if I can help it. Because a lot of foods are already naturally salty enough. But I keep on getting reminded of the old TV cartoon back in the day about the guy who talks about don't drown your food and all of the other stuff.
Uh-huh.
I think you remember that one, don't you, Jason?
I think so.
Schoolhouse Rock stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be the world would benefit for showing those cartoons again. Because they help everybody. Just like a couple other things. My head hurts. I'm trying to think of everything all at once, and it just my brain's starting to lock up. So we can change the topic to I don't know. A little bit early for that.
Okay, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Remember, I have no idea who follows what here, and I don't freaking care. It's just long as you're not hurting anybody else, taking care of yourself and your family. That's all that matters to me. So, religion, that's why I don't talk about religion much, because it's a hot button topic. Just like politics, same reason. But I do worry about people.
Well, we can poke fun at the politics, right?
Within reason. But not just, I don't want to know who you voted for. I don't care. Because that,
Not going to tell you.
Huh?
Won't tell you.
Yeah. Because, I have my opinions, you have yours. Let's just keep it that way. Because, I have some opinions about things that most people would probably find controversial. But I'm not liberal. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm me. That's all I can say.
The guy's name I wrote in there, he didn't get picked.
Jon Stewart was who I would chose if I could have. But Jon Stewart wasn't running. And most people don't know who Jon Stewart is.
If you guys really want to know, I wrote in there Ted Nugent.
Ted would be an interesting choice. That would be interesting. What was the name of his band?
What was the name of Ted Nugent's band?
What?
What was the name of Ted Nugent's band?
It was just Ted Nugent.
I know it was just Ted Nugent.
I don't know.
Damn Yankees, Democracy, the Amboy Dukes, and Hearing Aid. I think. He's been in so many different bands, it's kind of hard to. He did a lot more solo stuff than he did with bands, apparently.
Yeah. Well, it's like Alice Cooper. No, it was known as Alice Cooper. You didn't know the name of his band
Right.
because he had so many different people playing for him.
Personally, I don't care what his politics are. I call it, the causes that he follows is what I care about. The hunting thing. That's a big one for me. He's a big pro hunter, which I'm fairly on board with. He's a bow hunter, which is another good thing. So that's,
well, that's one of the things he uses.
That's his platform in my book. Being Democrat, Republican doesn't matter. But I always am a firm believer in voting for the right person for the job, not necessarily for the party, because that's not always the same thing. But that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, and that's dropping it right there. Would you choose military meals? You were going to talk about food over civilian-made meals for a emergency kit.
Oh, definitely the military.
Okay. I will tell you the ones I got from.
Hold on, I got a phone call.
Okay. I did buy a 4 meals from the Army Navy surplus store online, and those foods were so freaking salty. I could not handle any of them. But that was the generic one. It wasn't actually the regular MREs or anything like that. And Army Navy Outdoors is what I should have said. They have all kinds of foods and things like that you. We have the humanitarian MREs. They have the actual MRE side dishes as well as the main dishes and stuff like that. But they also now have Mountain House on that site now. So, which you can get things like buffalo style chicken, mac and cheese, kung pao chicken. And what else can you get there? A 24 case pack of MRE entrees for $40. But it's usually it's the same thing. You can get 2 choices: burrito bowl or chicken with noodles. I'm sorry to say, I would probably choose chicken with noodles more often than not. Now, if you guys had a choice of ready-made emergency meals, what would you guys choose? What brand, what type, and why? Inquiring minds want to know.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, Molly's sister.
Now, I was asking everybody what kind of ready-made meals that would you guys choose and why?
Yeah, like I said, I would choose the military ones because more calories. There's actually more food in that pack than you would get for like the civilian ones.
Right. Um, it also depends on where you get them from. I mean, whether you're going for they do actually make a cold weather MRE.
Yeah.
Um, those cost a little bit more, but it's more of a seasonal item, I would think, because not everybody's going to be in cold weather all the time. Now, which would still work, in my opinion, you correct me if I'm wrong, if you're in a wet weather area that does a lot of rain and it can get cold at night due to temperatures dropping at night, obviously, or even desert situations at night because there's nothing to hold the heat in.
No, there isn't.
Cold weather MRE would be perfect for that kind of situation, as long as you have enough water to process it through your body, in my opinion. What do you think, Jason?
Oh, yeah, like I said, it all depends on where you're at, where you're driving through. A big
And how
difference.
much water you have?
We usually carry a couple of gallons plus a flat of water.
Okay, repeat that one more time.
We carry a couple of gallons in the jugs and a flat of water.
Okay. Do you use insulated jugs or just regular?
Regular water jugs, yep.
Okay. I have been considering on getting the military issue insulated jugs. At least one is like 5-gallon jug or a 3-gallon jug. They make both either of those to keep in my truck. But I wouldn't be able to do that unless I had a topper on my truck.
Yeah.
Because then if that was the case, if I had a topper with be able to close everything off, I would outfit that one for more winter truck camping setups anyway, which would make a really good version for my truck anyway. But I don't think I can afford a topper on my back of my truck anytime soon. I've got some other things I got to take care of first.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Cliff is planning on ever getting a topper for his truck or not. I know that Dan's got one on his truck. And I know that Tyler has one on his truck. I've done truck camping before they actually talked about it online. It's just something I slept in the back of my 85 Ford Ranger because it had a padded floor.
Yeah.
With carpeting on it and everything, and the walls were somewhat foam insulated. Now it wasn't perfect by any means, but it did allow me to sleep in colder temperatures using less gear. Less qualified winterized gear.
Oh, yeah.
They say a 50-degree bag instead of a 30-degree bag. But I also had a space heater that could run as well. Though, if I really needed to, I would open up the split windows from the cab of my truck to the back of my truck because that allowed the heat exchange that way. But that wasn't very efficient, and I was never really small enough to fit through those split windows anyway.
Yeah.
Now, Ian, on the other hand, could probably jump back and forth with no issues because he's skinny enough. But I know you have stocking caps, Jason. What were they made out of?
Yarn.
Okay, what's the yarn made out of?
I have no idea.
Are they acrylic or are they wool? Or alpaca? I mean, if they're alpaca or natural material. If they're natural fibers, then I would trust them more than I would an acrylic hat like the one I just showed you, like my backup. Where'd I put it? I have no idea where I put it. Oh, this one. This one's acrylic. This one's wool. They look very similar, but they're not the same. And the only reason I got this one, because Ian got multiples and he doesn't like this one. And this is a watch cap, folks, not a beanie, not a toque. It's named and everything. Though I want to ask Cecilia what material she uses to make her hats, because I know she makes a lot of them. Did you ever receive any of her hats, Jason?
Yes, I have one of them.
Okay. So Cecilia, what do you use for your yarn? Is it wool or is it acrylic? I know Jenny's got multiple kinds. I don't know what she uses, so I have to ask her. Love? Your yarn, is it acrylic or is it actual wool? Okay.
A little bit everything.
Okay, because if you decide to make hats, could you use the wool?
I'm using a DK
Okay.
with alpaca.
Okay.
A DK
Well-
made with alpaca. That's all I know.
Say what?
Well, he's using a decaying packet with alpaca in it.
Alpaca's, I've heard alpaca works really well for hats. And I've heard of sweaters, but I don't know much about those.
Well, neither do I.
I'm using a DK, so very soft.
Well, that's cool to know there, Cecilia. Because I know the military uses a lot of wool because it keeps yourself warm even when wet. So stuff like this. Ian's actually got some thermals and stuff like that. He's actually got a complete set of winter gear, minus the boots. So I think he might actually have some Mickey Mouse boots in there somewhere. I think I bought him a pair. Because they were never in my size. Most boots, winter boots in the military, were never in my size. Not so much length, just width. Now, having wool scarves and things like that will protect you more often than not. Guaranteed. Because you can always cover your mouth, cover your ears. Me, I use it as a sleep aid. I just do that. You can keep your nose warm when it's cold out, and a good beard like Jason's got would make a big difference.
Oh yeah.
So between having a wool hat of some kind, and a beard, you'll keep your face warm. As long as you keep your nose warm. Mine, I've had frostbite on the tips of my ears, and my ears get sore in the cold. So that's one of, also I have, I don't wear full on wool gloves. I wear, the pullover mitten glove, fingerless gloves. What do you use, Jason?
I just have a couple of different gloves.
Well, I mean, Ian's got several military pilot's gloves, but I usually generally carry. Grab my jacket here. Since I wear multiple layers, something like this, is a good rain jacket. It's just a simple Colan, nothing fancy, but I carry. Use this one here because it's my left hand anyway. Glove and mittens like this, which do keep my fingers warm, but still allows me the dexterity to do whatever I need to do. Especially if you need to start a fire or something like that, it takes little fine motor movements. But this is a Thinsulate brand. Sorry about that. Let me take it off my hand so you can see it better. A Thinsulate brand. I found these at the Goodwill outlet store, and they're going to need to be replaced eventually because they're starting to rip a little bit right there. But these keep my hands warm no matter what. Now, I don't know how hard it would be to make gloves or mittens. Mittens are probably easier than gloves, but I prefer this kind over most. They are a little snug, but that's okay. I'd rather be a little snug than too loose where I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Because I like me having the dexterity and the fact that it's got little Velcro there to hold that back. I can do everything I need to do. If I want to shoot my glove, my bow, or a firearm of some kind, I can still do that without having to worry about keep my fingers cold too much. But I'm not sure what these are made out of, but they are lined, and they're very, very, very warm. But that's all I can tell you. Now, I do have scarves and stuff like that, but I've never been a big fan of anything around my neck. Though even a balaclava that I own, it just feels tight around my neck. What about you, Jason?
I just got my onesie and I got my hoodie and everything else, so which actually keeps me quite warm.
Well, I mean, Ian's got all the thermal gear for winter because apparently the sergeant that owned the gear before Ian,
Yeah,
was about roughly the same size as Ian, height wise.
yeah.
And which is great for Ian, but Ian is so freaking skinny, it's ridiculous. Now, when I say I wear this one, I got my base layer, I've got my zip up hoodie, then I'd wear something like this. If I want to go something even more, I'd probably pull the hood out if I needed to. But I do got something heavier that I can swap out for as well. But everything must have a hood. No matter what hat I have, I need to have a hood to come up and protect my neck and the back and my ears, especially. Now, this one here is a simple Colan, like I said, and this is a polyester layer thing, so keep it dry for the most part. Now, is it insulated? No, it does have a lot of ventilation to help get the sweat away from your body. Like I said earlier, in a cold weather situation where it's close to zero or below zero, you sweat, you can die if you don't relieve the sweat off your body. So, yes, move with a purpose. No, don't overdo it. So, does anybody have anything to add, subtract, correct myself? Because I can't say I know 100% everything about everything. But I like hearing what your guys' opinions are, what your ideas about these kind of things, and everything else. What would you add? What would you subtract? What would you use for your part of the country? Because I know we're from all parts of the United States and the North American continent. Because we don't have anybody here from England or Australia at the moment.
Yeah.
Which we generally do. So let's hear it, folks. What do you got?
Like I said, where I'm at, we really don't need all that cold weather survival stuff.
But it gets cold, but not cold. I mean, did you said you're about 33 degrees?
Yeah, for the tomorrow morning's low.
What is it at this particular point in time?
That was what, 50 earlier? 52 earlier. It is now 51.
Okay. What most people don't realize, you can get hypothermia in 50-degree weather.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a matter of sub-zero temperatures. It's a matter of your poor body temperature dropping 2 to 3 degrees below normal. If your core drops between, I think it's 85, I believe, you can go hypothermic easily. And that's why it doesn't matter what part of the country you're at, even in the South, it can get cold enough where you can get hypothermic.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't realize it.
Especially when you're wet.
Exactly. And it's the convection I think I mentioned that earlier, of the heat being sucked off your body. And it's just like it's like the complete opposite of what happens in Arizona in the dry heat. It just sucks the moisture out of you. The cold wet clothing, or a wet body and a high wind will suck the heat out of you, and you could pretty much die really quickly in a really high wind situation if you're wet, especially at night. And even in Texas, it gets cold too, I believe.
Yeah, it gets cold here.
Now, what's your overnight low?
Tonight it's supposed to be like 32.
That's a heat wave where I'm at right now. We are going to be at, give me a second here. I'm going to wait for this to pop up. We're going to get down to 12.
12.
12.
That's cold.
That's going to be about 11 o'clock, so in a couple hours. Night, Cecilia.
Good night, Cecilia.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for letting me know about your wool and stuff. Really appreciate it. Yeah, just be careful, folks. I worry about you, and I always say it's the medic in me worrying about the people I care about. And I probably drive people nuts asking you, are you okay? You need anything? Can I help you? Kind of situation. Because that was my job for so long, is to make sure that was the whole thing. Now, was I the best medic? No. But I was the most attentive one, that's for sure. And I'm sorry to say, there's one thing I do not want to have to do is basically strip you down and go skin to skin to warm somebody up who's hypothermic. That is not my ideal thing to do. Though that can be done, I'd rather not have to do it myself. Unless it's Jenny, then I'll do that all day. She did not hear a word I said, Jason. Hey, hun. I was just telling people that in a hypothermic situation,
Actually, I did.
You did hear me.
It's just not.
All you had to do was smile, hun. She did. I'd rather not have to do that myself if I didn't have to. But I do know in the opposite situation, in hot weather, to cool a body down, alcohol, like denatured alcohol, can cool the core body down faster than straight water. Because it will evaporate off the skin faster and cool a core temperature down. It does not replace the fluids in a body, but it will get the internal temperature down to a more reasonable condition. Oh, and I think Jason will agree on this one. If it's really cold out, do not drink alcohol.
Nope.
Please do not drink alcohol. It may be a thing you want to do to pass the time, but do not do that. It'll cause your core to make you feel like you're warm when you're not, and you can die of hypothermia faster.
Yep.
And keep yourself hydrated. It's going to sound weird, but keeping hydrated will keep you warm. Now, whether it's be careful if you're going with a lot of caffeinated drinks. I mean, I know coffee is one of my go-to when it comes to stuff like that, but keep yourself warm the best way you can. Even drinking straight hot water would be enough. But if you can't handle straight hot water, go with like a tea or even coffee if you can deal with it. Whether it's just simple, well, I think I got one right here somewhere. I always carry stuff near my chair wherever I'm at. Just to remember where I put it. No. I don't have it. I can't find it right now, but I carry my coffee with me wherever I go. I've got a whole pack of it in my backpack. But this is my medic mode. So Jason, what's new in your area?
Just working, and we're going to end up go see the holiday lights.
Okay. Now, okay, I got to check something real quick. Give me a second here. I'm opening up my calendar on my computer here. Let's see here. Christmas is on a Wednesday this year.
Yes.
So I don't think you're going to be on. If you
Okay.
are, and also the New Year's is also on yours as
Yeah.
well.
I'll probably be up on New Year's.
Are you going to be up overnight?
No, I have to work the next day.
No. From the 31st to the 1st.
No, I have to work on the 1st.
Really?
Yep.
Dang, that sucks.
Not really.
Me, it does. But I will take that time slot if you're okay with it.
No, I don't mind going to work on those days because then I get every Thursday off in the month of January.
Oh, really? I did
Yep.
not know that.
Because I have to burn time at work. I got burned like almost 48 hours.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that. Well, it doesn't look like anybody in the chat's saying anything.
Yeah.
They're probably on other channels right now.
Yeah, the guy I was going to be watching tonight didn't show up. He's not on right now.
I missed Wilden Carey's had a giveaway, which I missed. I don't know who's on live right now. Besides me, of course. Rain Sound Natural and Bonnie's, whatever that is. So if you guys are listening or paying attention or anything, put a 1, an asterisk, a penny, or something, a thumbs up in the chat. For
0.5.
One.
1.
I know you guys are here, but I'm talking about in the chat. Cliff is still here. Are you okay, bud? Do you need chicken noodle soup or something? With a hint of Tabasco?
He just needs to get some more nachos.
Well, Vicks 44 rub will probably help with his, chest and head sinuses. No, I mean, it's just, I wasn't sure what he was planning, if he's getting some vitamin C on. I did see something I would like to run by you because it's a Vivor product, Jason.
And
The diesel heater.
I've been hearing a lot of good things and bad things.
Because I know you can run it outside of whatever you're heating up.
Actually,
For the
the
exhaust.
heater's going to be in the inside, and you use the exhaust to go from inside to outside.
But you can have the whole unit outside and have the heater hose going inside.
No, because you need to draw from the inside to keep the heat warm.
I'm seeing people just doing it the other way around, and the exhaust is still just outside.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I mean.
You want to draw the heat from inside where you're at.
Well, what I'm
air so much, yeah.
what I'm talking about is I'm not sure if I can do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
if
that.
you're drawing in 20-degree air into that, it's not going to get warm up enough.
Well, they do have a thermocouple or something like right here, as you can see, and that way you're not worrying about exhaust as much.
Yeah,
But
if you
looks
see
like
a
it still
little,
needs to be go ahead.
yeah, you see the little exhaust in the back of it.
Right.
That's the exhaust. That's the one you put through a wall.
Well, if they don't have a spot, is what I'm saying. But if you notice, it still has to be plugged in. That's the only issue I foresee as an issue.
Yeah, you still need a battery and something to plug it in, just so you can run the heater, excuse me, the fan and the igniter.
Right. So that's something you want to consider. That's my touchscreen abilities. That's why it did what it did. I've been seeing that Vivor products being mentioned quite a bit, especially being sent over to the Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee areas a lot.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how well they would work. Yes, they're diesel powered. Now, here, I don't think they would ever be biodiesel powered, which would be interesting if they could. But I don't know much about diesel products other than what we had in the military.
Yeah, like I said, we actually got a heater for the mother-in-law's greenhouse, and it works pretty well.
You actually have one?
Yeah, mother-in-law and father-in-law have one for the greenhouse.
So it's a Vivor one?
I believe it is.
Okay. Because they've been advertising those a lot on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. Especially the people have been donating them to people who lost their houses and stuff. And they're living in tents of all places still. And like I said, I'm trying to avoid talking about that topic because it's a pet peeve of mine about people not being helped when they should be able to be helped. Cliff, have you taken your temperature lately? And are you drinking anything other than your water or tea, like Gatorade, Pedialyte, anything like that? Something with electrolytes in it. And no, Red Bull does not count. And Jaeger doesn't count either. Though that's one thing I would make sure Cliff never took with him in a cold weather environment is his Jaeger.
Yeah.
Even though he might miss it. Now Everclear would probably work better for, like, say, my alcohol stove. I bet it could probably even work in this, Jason. Not as well as regular fuel, but it probably could be used in one of these. Now, will it smell like a alcohol distillery? Oh, you better believe it. Would it keep you warm? Probably, most definitely, but not as long as, say, the actual regular fuel. But I mean, if you don't have the hot hand stuff, use what you got. You don't take your temp, dude. Oh man, I almost had soldiers these days. I can't tell you how many people I've had to make sit down and drink water. And you wouldn't believe who's the worst ones about it. Take a guess, Jason.
The doctors themselves.
Medics are the worst about it because they are too busy. And, that's one thing that, you got to keep an eye on everybody. Either I die or you won't. Well, you'll die eventually, Cliff, or you'll be immortal. I'm not sure which. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, brother?
There's Jeff.
Better late than never. We're discussing emergency cold weather items for your vehicle. Since he is where he's from, he's definitely got to have something in his vehicle. We're discussing what you keep in your vehicle to keep yourself warm, like wool clothing, like my watch cap here, or wool. No, you could wear wool pants. I've seen people have those, but they're not common here in Iowa. Unfortunately, a lot of items nowadays are blends, not just like that's probably a wool blend blanket. Unfortunately, though my civil defense blanket from Ohio, that's 100% wool. But I'd rather, even though that's a single person-sized wool blanket, I'd probably use that one over that one any day because that one is 100% wool. Just a blanket? You don't have any other emergency supplies like chains, jumper cables, food, water, road flares, emergency flashers. I've seen the electric versions that you can stick on top of your car that are like magnetic. Those would probably be a good idea if you get stuck in a snowbank or something. What do you think, Jason?
Yep.
I've seen them, but I know for the fact they don't last long unless you they're plugged into your lighter or something, but then you're running off your car battery, and that could drain your battery, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, getting a emergency jump pack, the ones that are like this big, it's supposed to be able to jump like 12 vehicles in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a good idea to have. Now, I don't know how long they hold a charge because cold weather does not do well with electronics, especially batteries, unfortunately. So remember to take your batteries out of your vehicle when you're not in them because they will drain faster than not. The heat will do the same.
Oh, yeah.
You need more than a blanket and a first aid kit there, Jeff. Makes me want to go down there and just organize your vehicle there. Like keeping a cold weather sleeping bag or sleep system, yeah. Give me a second here. Gotta find I have all the gear that I was showing off earlier. Emergency backup medication if you need it. Man, I am so disorganized right now. I'm still fighting my head cold.
Are you?
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've blown my nose today. If that makes any sense. Now, I do have some stuff in my bag that's not common. Like, I have an extra tarp. I got 2 extra tarps, not just one. I do have extra battery banks. This is just a small 5,000 milliamp one, or sorry, 4,000 milliamp one. That's just for an emergency if you need to be able to make a 911 call or something like that. This one here needs charged because it's going to get 1 bar. Having decent water bottles, either the metal ones or this one here is the REI version of the. Gotta wait. She okay?
Normal cough.
Okay. Now this is the 48-ounce Nalgene bottle from REI. One of the many things I picked up along the way. But you can store stuff in here. Now, you can go with the water bottles or the bigger bottles for water, but you got to be careful about that stuff freezing. So I'm not sure if how those 4-ounce water bags you get in emergency supplies will handle the cold without bursting. So I have no clue on that particular aspect of things. But if it's cold enough to snow, you can melt it and drink it that way. Just don't eat it. And definitely don't eat the yellow snow either.
Yeah, if you start eating snow, you're going to drop your core temperature.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the go, like, okay, I'm using dual survival as a example. And Grady Powell and one of his current partners were going through a snowfield area, and they were eating snow as they go, but they were also moving at a high rate of speed. So, which a combination of the both would keep their core temperature to a median level. The snow would lower their temperature, and their walking would raise their temperature, so they kind of met in the middle. Try to keep themselves hydrated as much as possible. But eating snow is not the best way to get yourself hydrated.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, I don't know exactly where you're at, but I'm not sure how much snow you have on the ground at the moment. But having a metal bottle that you could use to either melt snow, use as a hot water bottle, and things like that would be a plus in my book. Or if you're using a plastic Nalgene bottle with a sleeve of some kind, would probably also work. And carrying more than one kindling device, such as a flashlight, like a little O light here, or my headlamp. Yeah, we got a dusting here too. But yeah, there's so many different options that you have to consider. Oh man, I have no idea where I put. Oh, there it is. Yeah, having emergency bivvies and things like that. But I try to keep 2 sleeping bags in my truck at all times. I am planning on taking a couple of my sleeping bags I have back here and throwing those in Jenny's car in the trunk. Because I've got one right here. It just came apart. Dang it. I can't tell you what brand it is. I can't tell you what the rating is, but it is a mummy bag. Let's see here, what does it say? The tags are so old, I can't tell you what it is. It's from North Pole Ltd, so I have no idea. But it's a polyester sleeping mummy bag, and I need to get a case for it. But this is going to go in Jenny's, and it's rated down to 30 degrees. Now, with this and maybe the bivy bag inside it, or this inside the bivy bag. Hey, Dan, how you doing? A whoopee would be nice. I think I mentioned a whoopee, I think. No, I didn't. I did not mention a whoopee. A quilt would work. I actually have one right back there. Or also having a puffer jacket. Something you can zip and let your core body heat out if you're overheating. But like I said, this one here is going to be going in Jenny's car. It's thick enough, and it does have the full hood to keep, but you can zip up and keep yourself super warm. Not as much as my military version, but still warm enough. Now, there is another updated version of this particular system that I have that's supposed to go down a couple more extra degrees, but this is still a sub 30, about a negative 30 degree bag setup system. That one. This one here is probably about 30, 20 to 30. So now, will it keep me warm outside? I have no freaking clue, but that remains to be seen. As soon as I get done with this live, I'm going to have to repack all this up anyway. Now, I know Dan's got a really good setup in his truck.
Yeah.
I mean, he's set up to go at the drop of a hat.
Almost anywhere.
Yeah. So, I can't tell you where I found this particular sleeping bag. I know it was at a thrift shop probably, but it is. I am going to have to reach. I can't really zip that up right now. Roll that up. I'm going to have to get some new straps for it to hold it in place, because the straps it comes with doesn't hold anything. But I have some extra straps here somewhere. I just got to find them. I had a whole bunch of them that I acquired over the years. That makes sense, Jeff. Your family lives closer by from where you're at right now too, aren't they? Oh, alternative means of illumination when you're in a vehicle does not always mean headlamps and flashlights. You want to see a good alternative, Jason?
For what?
Illumination.
Use candles. You can do all kinds of other stuff.
It's in my hand right now.
Probably a lighter.
Nope. Book light.
Oh.
They put out a lot of light. And they can be freestanding.
It's still a flashlight.
It is of a sort, yeah. And you can clip it onto, like, say, your visor of your vehicle, because it's got the clip right there. Or in Jenny's case, because she likes reading books and stuff. It's just a simple little, I'm not sure if it's a GE. Yeah. It's a General Electric book light. I can't tell you where I picked it up, but it just showed up somewhere. And it's got a thing for changing out the batteries, which I've never done before. So, yeah, it just takes 2 little AA's. So that's not too bad. Booklight? PP. That's one thing I didn't consider under sanitation. Now, though, I'm not sure if you'd want to use TP or wet wipes. Okay. Well, not everybody has a satellite system in their vehicle there, Jeff. Like OnStar and the like. So I know my truck doesn't have it. Now, when you did live in the sticks, Jeff, what did you carry? And Dan, I can't even begin to ask you what you carry in the back of your truck, because I know you got everything but the kitchen sink, and I could be wrong about that as well. Because I know he could sleep in the back of his truck in the topper of his truck if he wanted to. Now, most people usually carry cell phones, obviously, but it does not mean just because you have a cell phone doesn't mean you're going to have signal. Because I've been in places where you think they'd be able to get signal, but you're in the middle of a snowstorm they cannot find you because they can't see you or find you. And GPS is not always reliable in the middle of a snowstorm either. Now, if you do have a destination that you need to go to that is through areas that were prone to whiteout conditions and or blizzard conditions, please plan your itinerary with somebody you're going to. That way they know which route you're taking. Do not deviate from your destination, your route, because that's a good way to have issues. When we lived out in give me a second here. Milo, we were literally out in the middle of nowhere. You guys seen the videos? You know what my the property I was at was like. Our closest neighbor was over a half a mile away.
It's about how I grew up.
And there was mostly open fields, and that meant winds, hellacious winds. They cut down the major trees in the area. I would have put up more trees, not less trees, of a windbreak style, you know? But they didn't do that. But right now, I mean, being safe in the wintertime, make sure you have your shovels. Make sure you have kitty litter of some kind. Money is another thing you should keep on handy, whether it be by a credit card or physical cash, because you never know. Jenny and I once got stuck somewhere because of it flooded. I will say this: the route got blocked by floods, and we actually had to check into a hotel because we could not get home. We were safe, we were warm, we were dry, but we had to get a hotel. I understand that. You carry extra heart medication where you go, Jeff? Chapstick is a good idea too. This right here is something Jenny got me, which I'm thinking about adding to my future gear. It's called a boom boom stick. It's a inhaler to keep for clearing out your nasal passages and stuff. It's all it is. It just this one's winter mint. Nothing fancy, but it's called a boom. Oops, sorry, upside down. It's called a boom boom stick. Jenny got them from. Where'd you get these from? Love. Oh, she went to bed. You should at least carry a couple days extra of your medication with you wherever you go, Jeff, because you don't know what may happen where you will be kept away from home. I carry at least a 4-day supply, but I can carry up to 8 days if I need to. And I keep them in a waterproof case. So I carry enough. I mean, I have to have aspirin every day no matter what. And my other stuff, like a stormostatin, I can get by with. That's just a cholesterol one. But the other stuff, not so much. And make sure you have decent gloves too. Because if you blow a tire, you're going to have to try to keep warm while doing that. Unless you are close enough to somewhere where you can call AAA or a tow truck or whatever. Because if you've ever tried to change a tire in the snow, you know what I'm talking about.
It's miserable.
It is very miserable. And if you try to do it when you have a bad knee, it's impossible. Trust me, I've tried to do it with a bad knee, and I can't. I actually had to hire someone to change a tire for me. You know how embarrassing that is? I'm strong enough to do it, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't get on my knees. But I will make a suggestion for you there, Jeff. I'll show you what I got, and I think you should, if you can try to pick one up, you should do it. Um, Jenny got me this one. It's just a generic case, but it's a waterproof case with different chambers. It's got 2 chambers up here and 6 chambers down here. It's all waterproof and silicone sealed, as you can see up here, and you don't have to worry about your medications getting wet. And like I said, I could probably hold more about that because I got these 2 big chambers here, but I would probably put enough in here for 8 days at least. I might put some extra aspirin or something in one side just because I got to have aspirin regimen anyway. Now, I don't know if Jason has to take any medication daily or not. Really none of my business, but
No, I don't.
But I just want to make sure if you need to, be safe about it. By the way, folks, don't overlook these things like soap containers and things like that are water got the waterproof seals on them, like this one here. They're great for keeping your char cloth dry. You can put in the silicone packet things, but those, they're trying to find ones it's still working. It's kind of hard to do, so let's put it in this to keep it dry, because this will allow you to have a good base for starting fires. It just won't fit in my normal pack for my fire kit, because that won't fit in here. But this one's got more than just my fire kit, but that's mainly what I got in here. I am starting to wind down, folks. I apologize.
I know I am too. I have been fighting sleep all night.
I've been up and down all day because my chest cold and stuff. On a good note, I am down to 280.
That's good.
I am working my way down, but that was as of this afternoon, and that's before I ate. But that's my good news for myself. My weight is down. My surgery is in February, and all the other fun stuff. Thank you, Jeff. I don't know how many pills you take a day. I take 4 a day, plus if I need to take anything like ibuprofen for my knee for pain management. And that one is an 800 milligram pill twice daily as needed. But now lately, my left knee has not been hurting as much as my right knee, because my right knee has been trying to compensate for my left. But like I said earlier, consider getting a book light, simple, easy, basic light that you can actually stand up and not actually have to keep your hands on. As Jason and I both said, we are kind of tired. We're going to be closing it out right now. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. I will try to catch you on Saturday on Cliff's if he's feeling better.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get over his sinus infection, head cold thing. Mine is just a head cold deal, though I am coughing up gunk out of my lungs. So I think that's mostly because this is head and chest congestion. So that's probably why I'm coughing up the gunk out of my lungs. Stuff I didn't know was there. But I will. Okay, good to know. Thank you for keeping me informed on that one, Jeff. But I will probably try to catch you guys on Saturday if I don't see anybody else. I think CR is probably going to go live tomorrow, most likely, because I didn't see him at all today. I don't even know if he was on live or anything like that either. But be well, be safe. I love you guys all. And
Good night, everybody. Be safe
I'm
out
out
there.
here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good night,
Don't forget to
everybody.
slap a rat.